Davison. Great to have Leigh Wood along, Nottingham's finest. Good evening, Leigh.
Evening, lads. You right?
Yeah, really good. Thanks yourself.
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Back in the swing of things.
You're back in the gym?
Away. Yeah, I'm back down Harlow. It is where I'm based now, Essex. Back in the gym, pretty much.
Brilliant. So, what we thought we'd do is just have a bit of a chat about your previous fight and just what's happening going forward, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, no worries. Can this video work? Yeah.
Yeah, you're on, Leigh. You're on.
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah.
So first things first, Leigh, congratulations on your British title win.
Thanks for that. Been a long time coming. You know, I didn't expect to win it so late in my career, but better late than never and all that.
Of course, absolutely.
Great performance. Great performance.
Thanks for that.
No worries. So obviously, you know, with Ben Davison.
Yep.
One thing that me and Andy have been itching to ask is, Ben Davison's not shy in saying that he thinks you're pound for pound the hardest puncher that he's worked with, which is quite complimentary, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it a lot. I've heard it a lot, not just off Ben, off pretty much everyone that's trained me. They've all said the same thing. They always took me on pads. Coaches took me on the pads there and there as well and said the same thing. But you know, you have to stay grounded, that kind of thing. You know, there's more to boxing than being a big puncher. You've got to land them shots, and you've got to stop getting it yourself as well. There's a lot more to it, but it's nice to have that with my game that a lot of fighters haven't got. So
yeah, I don't believe.
Out of interest, Leigh, you've obviously previously you've had a style where you've boxed quite a lot off the back foot.
Yeah, because I was schooled like, I don't know if it's the way I was schooled or what I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed making people miss, and I kind of enjoyed that style, and that's how I was schooled at the Ingle gym. You know, hit and not get hit.
Yeah,
that's
yeah, there is another string to my bow kind of thing, but to get my power off, being on the back foot is not very effective. I mean, I did it many times where I'd be back foot most of the fight, and then when there was a time when they'd miss that many shots, and it was just a sitting duck for them. But now I get them opportunities a lot earlier, boxing a slightly different way.
Yeah, I can honestly say, Leigh, that you're one of my favourite boxers to watch because you give value for money. And it's not just because you're from Nottingham. You can always guarantee. Yeah, it helps, but you can always guarantee, Leigh, that you give value for money in the ring. So, like I say,
that's
fantastic.
It. It's exciting, isn't it? It's when you got power involved at the lower weights. So, yeah, I'm excited for my future as well. You know, hopefully, been some bigger fights, push on towards a world title possibly, but I'm not ruling out. I would like to win that British title outright, but
that was going to be one of my questions.
Yeah, I'd love to. Nothing more I'd love to do, but if it means waiting around for opponents and wasting a year and a half in my prime, I'd rather push on and get a shot at a big belt, you know. So
right,
we'll see.
Is there anything in the pipeline?
What was that? Sorry.
Is there anything in the pipeline?
Yeah, we've got a lot of options, but we're just waiting to see how things pan out. Ideally, I would like, in an ideal world, to get Gavin McDonnell next for the European title if he wins. You know, it's all ifs and buts, but if he can win that European title, I'd love the rematch. I think it'll be a massive fight. Not just that, but I could put the British title on the line as well. So that's another tick there for one defence. I only need two more, so that makes that little dream more possible, as well as getting a world ranking, as well as pushing on. So that would be perfect for me. But if that doesn't happen, look, we've got a lot of options. Can push on for a world title, get ranked with an organisation. A lot of people think I'm mad when I say this, but I'm looking at the world champions. I'd like, if I could pick one to fight, I'd pick the unbeaten 2-weight world champion Mexican Navarrete. I think make for a massive fight. He's here to be hit, but he's strong, he's long. He's coming up from super bantamweight, but that would be a terrific fight, and I'd pour my whole of everything, every drop of me into that fight.
You don't mess about, do you, Leigh?
No, I don't, to be honest.
Don't make life easy for yourself.
Would that be what?
Boxing styles make fights, you know, and like Ben said, I've got that power which is elite, and I back myself going into any fight with that.
Would that be one for the City Ground, hopefully, Leigh?
It probably would, but you know, he's champion, so he kind of pulls his strings and where and when kind of thing. So we'll see what happens. You know, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I've got a lot of levels in between that yet.
So when you've won that world title, then and you come for a city ground fight.
That'd be dreamy.
Exactly. What, against one of the other big champions?
Definitely. If I won the world title, some buts. If I got a shot at it sooner rather than later, then yeah, it'd probably be a unification fight. There's other options really, like depending on what I do with this British and the European. Like it could be like a final eliminator for a world title. That could probably get a big crowd at the City Ground and get a good undercard. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Got a good manager in Dave Caldwell, so I'm leaving it to him.
So there's obviously a what looks like a world title fight between Jazza Dickens and Kid Galahad. Is that a route you could go down as well?
Yeah, most definitely.
Obviously that's probably going to be
realistic. Yeah, it'll probably be more realistic at the minute. See what happens. You've got to wait to see who wins that as well. It's not a given fight.
Who does win it, Lee?
I think Galahad over the stretch, but it depends if he turns up like he did in his last fight, which was very good. Against Josh, he didn't look his normal self. So it's all about down to the night, and obviously Dickens is on good form. He's been boxing like regular, so it's hard to call. If I had to put money on it, I would say probably Dickens down the stretch.
That would be an interesting night, wouldn't it, Lee? If you got Warren,
I'd say Galahad down the stretch. So I think Dickens over the stretch isn't as good. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting night, mate. Very interesting.
Yeah, Lee, that would be an interesting night at the City Ground if you got Warrington's Lee's lot over to the City Ground, wouldn't it?
Yeah, just a bit either either.
Keep out the way of Trent Bridge that
night. That's like last year. I had a few interviews and I said there's 3 things that I want to do in my career, like to make sure I do, and one was win the British title, so that's one box ticked. The second thing is to box for and hopefully win a world title, and the third thing is to be the first person to headline at the City Ground. Obviously, them 2 would probably tie in together the last 2, but they're the things I want to do. There's 2 more things to do. I've got plenty of time. I've got plenty of motivation and determination to get the things done.
Brilliant.
When you was in the Ingle gym, was Kid Galahad about? Did you spar him?
Yeah, many times. We trained together for nearly 10 years, so did a lot of things together. We trained, sparred, did lots of rounds of sparring.
You know him really well.
More body than open, but we did do a lot of open as well.
Right.
He's a good fighter. It'll be a hard fight. I know that, he knows that. But it'll be a great fight as well.
I think he beat Warrington that night, Lee.
Yeah, it was a very close fight. I was there. I didn't really sit down and score it because I was in the emotion of being there watching it. But it was close, and yeah, you're probably right, mate. You probably did nick it, but it's one of them, innit?
Yeah. Especially when you're in Leeds. So in terms of the Ingle gym, then did it just fizzle out with Dom Ingle, or did you have to move for the sake of your career a little bit?
Exactly that, mate. The training side of things, I was never had a qualm with. It was hard training, but it was beneficial. I felt good.
Yeah.
It was more the management side of things. I wasn't getting fights. I was there for years, just waiting for fights and not things happening. And then obviously I moved and trained with Ian for a bit. Pretty much trained me as Ingles did in the same kind of way. He did a lot of things for me, and I respect him for everything he done for me. And then I signed with Caldwell, obviously, whilst Ian was training me. And within weeks, I got the Commonwealth title shot. And then I had 5 fights with Caldwell now, all title fights. So can't knock him. And obviously,
he seems a straight up and down guy, Caldwell. I hope he is like he's on camera, because he comes across like he's a good pundit as well. He knows his stuff, don't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I can't fault him, mate. I can't fault him. And obviously, Ian. Last year, Ian didn't have a gym, didn't have anything, didn't have any lads, so just kind of basically said he can't give me what I need for my next fight, which was the British title fight. So I made the move to Ben, and I'm glad I did, because obviously I got a whole new way of looking at things, and I've learned a lot. I'm excited for my next few fights, and I'm really looking forward to it.
How good is Ben Davison?
Extremely, and people don't even realize that's probably like one of the best things, because he'd be swarmed with all these fighters. So I don't want to scream about him too much, because competition, fighting for a time as it is. But yeah, mate, he's not what you see. You know, he trained my friend first, Leo Delange, I'm a fighter. And when Leo kept ringing me and asking what was happening and that for my fight, I told him, I said, broke up, like split with Ian, like he can't give me what I need, etc. And he said, come to Ben, come to Ben. And I was a bit skeptical, and obviously he kept going to Ben, oh, train Lee. So he was in the middle trying to hook us up. And yeah, just I was a bit skeptical looking at him, thinking, oh, just had Fiore for that comeback, blah blah blah. I couldn't have been more wrong. He's just on it, every single aspect of it. He covers every ground. He has me drilling things. Just the knowledge. He got a lot of knowledge for a young guy. He knows boxing very well.
Do you think that's why he's not got the credit he deserves because he's young?
I think it is. You know, in every industry you get bitter jealousy, and all the rest of it. But he's just young, and people think, oh, he's young. He can't know this. He can't know that. He's not got experience, but he can't be more wrong. And it's showing in all these fights now. You know, Josh's last fight, Liam McGregor's last fight, my last fight.
Yeah,
there's so much more to come. We're going to go up through the levels, and you're going to see his expertise and his sheer like just determination he puts in and dedication to each fighter. Like, I'll go training with him. I'll train there twice, and I'll come home. I'll get my dinner. I'll have a shower, whatever. Get in bed like 10 o'clock. Bang, and I'm getting videos and clip hits from him and Lee Wiley and things like that. It's just on it. If there's something you're not doing, you think people are going to exploit, you'll know about it before they do, and you'll change it. So
I guess only he's been to the summit and he'd want to get back there again, I'd imagine. You know, so I'd imagine he's really driven.
Very driven. He's obsessed. Is obsessed with every little bit of it for every little fighter. So, like I said, like you don't switch off at all, especially when you got a fight. And if you're fighting, he's on you. And like if you get something wrong that you've been working on, the next day you'll be drilling it, or the same day you'll be drilling it 1,000 times till you get it right. And it's just that side of things. You just know, and you're confident in what you're doing because you practice it so many times. The game plan and every single little part of it.
And he's a big fan of giving you a little whisper in the ear before the fight. I've noticed that one as well. So, yeah, I'm sure that's motivation that he's talking to you. No swear words, obviously.
It can be anything. He's probably telling me something that he's been telling me the whole camp that I've been practicing 1,000 times, and he texts me on the day the same thing. He'll probably just remind me one more time before getting in the ring. But it's good to have that reassurance, because you can't say I didn't know what I was doing because you've done it that many times. And yeah, it's good. He's just on it. Ben is on it, and like I said, over the next few years, you're going to see him probably move up to take top spot of England, UK's top trainer.
Really, you're rating that high there? Yeah.
How long were you with him before your British title fight then?
So 8 weeks it was.
Right. Wow. So and to me it looked like it instilled already quite a different style that you implemented into the fight.
Yeah, I'm quite what's the word? I'm quite adaptable. You know, I can pick things up and change quite quickly, which was important for this. But like I said, he had me practicing things that many times I couldn't have got it wrong. But like I said, it's not so much completely changing. It's more about picking the right decision making. My decision making is a lot better. Yeah. Why put yourself in a 50-50 exchange in certain places? Why put yourself on the ropes? Yeah. Why like is always making me ask questions. And the way I look at it now, and it's true what everything he said. Why put yourself in a bad situation? Ring generalship and all these little bits and bobs that I just used to do off the top of my head. And
it did come across in the fight that you were more patient, but picking your attacks and sitting back when you needed to. Yeah,
defending, picking my moments, not letting my opponent rest in between. And there's so many things that I've been practicing. Yeah. I don't want to go for every single little thing, but yeah, I'm happy where I'm at, and it was the best move I could have made.
Yeah, Ben Davison's got an air of confidence about him, which I like. You know, he's got a presence when he's in the ring. You know, yeah, I think he's a very good trainer. How different is it, Lee, fighting with no crowd?
It's horrible. I hate it.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, for this fight, it probably benefited me because I could hear Ben. Obviously, only been with him for a short period, so it probably was good this fight. But in future, it's not what I like, and hopefully, my next fight has got a crowd. So
Yeah, I know you can't name the opponent or anything, but have you got a time frame when you think you'll be out next?
I'd like to get out towards end of June. But
Right. So you'd hope then there'd be some presence of a crowd, wouldn't you? You'd hope.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. Brilliant.
What's
Okay.
what's it like being in the bubble?
I enjoyed it. Like I said on previous interviews, my opponent seemed a bit. He's not been there before. He'd not been in like a big fight. Not been around his opponent. Obviously, not in a bubble either, which is a new thing for me. But
yeah,
I kept saying like, look, you don't need to be like off with your opponent or cautious around him because you can say what you want. You can have as much fun as you want. When you both get in there to fight, you're gonna fight. So I just think he was being a bit cautious around me, like leave the room, etc. and stuff. But I spoke to him since then. He's sound. He's a nice kid. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. The matchroom did a good job. They had a cinema, a pool table, a dartboard. They had everything. Like good
Table
food.
tennis.
Table tennis.
You
Yeah.
hearing about table tennis? You any good, Lee?
Not really.
Right. Who was a table tennis king when you was in the bubble then?
Ben. Ben was the best, to be honest. Yeah,
Right.
I think he beat Barry a few times. I think in the end he's let Barry win because he was that bad.
Right. Right. Right, Lee. We said